And Brandon.
There's only one Brandon.
Yep. Brandon Hutchison.
That is me.
Very
yeah.
good.
Yeah. So, thank you for. I've flown up from Christchurch for this. I come from a long-standing drug law reform background, and I have a good science background as well. I'm young enough to remember when you could get away with murder if the victim that you murdered was a homosexual. I'm young enough to remember that. I'm not young enough to remember slavery and burning witches. Now, the reason I say that is because I guess in 100 years, or even preferably less, we'll be looking on the Misuse of Drugs Act and drug prohibition and this scenario here the same way that we look at how we persecuted homosexuals, how we kept slaves and burnt witches. It is an appalling scenario. But anyhow, that's just a preamble to my. I was wanting to refer to the Medical Association and the College of GPs and the College of Psychiatrists submission, which is very brief. Basically, they in fact, they obviously all compared notes, I think, are asserting that there is no efficacy of cannabis, and they don't know much about it, and we need more research. It's almost contradictory in a way. I submit that the efficacy of cannabis has been long established for thousands of years, and it's increasing dramatically, especially since the 90s with the work of McCullum finding the endocannabinoid system. It is actually a fundamental function of our bodies. And they are opposed to getting a defence for the terminally ill. But if you turn it around the other way, what they're saying is these people should be prosecuted.
No, I think from them it was we don't want to be responsible for writing notes.
They don't want to be involved, yeah. But a lot of their members are. I know many GPs who are sympathetic to that thing. So that was an official line. So I'm just concerned about it. But leading on from that, what they're asserting is that, or some people are viewing it as it's a medical issue, and we will control it as a medical issue. And that's a fundamental philosophical problem I have. Now, I'm very sympathetic to the medical industry. My daughter's a doctor, and I believe in science and that sort of thing. So you won't find me ranting on about big pharma conspiracies or anything like that, even if one or two of them are true. But you won't, it's not like that. And one of the submissions, I forget which one, suggested that cannabis should be lumped in with complementary and alternative medicines. Now, that's very problematic as well, because while some of those may have some efficacy, some of them are just ludicrous. Things like homeopathy and things like that are just nonsense. And so I'm suggesting those organisations are disappointingly ill-informed on this issue, really. So, and that's a big worry, because you'd think they would be prestigious people, and that would be the gold standard of. I noticed the Addiction Centre at Otago Med School came out. Yes, very, and they are very au fait with this issue. We know people like Doug Selman and things are very clued up on this issue. So I just asking that when you're deliberating on this matter, that you just don't say, well, this is a medical matter, what do the medical people say? It's actually impacting on how people, what rights do people have over their bodies and things. And that's the big issue. And I laugh at people who use homeopathy. I hope I'm not offending people. I probably am. I'm sorry. But we laugh at. But I would not want the criminal law to be in any way involved in that whatsoever. Okay. And similarly, I do not want the criminal law to be involved in cannabis. Now, and that's basically what I wanted to say to you. There are harms from cannabis. People say it's not addictive. Well, you can. There are people who smoke it morning, noon, and night, and are like zombies. But that is not a typical scenario. Now, Nikki, you mentioned something about psychosis. I didn't really want to get involved in that sort of thing, but you said a figure of 10%. Yeah, I think that's slightly outrageously high. I think if you
we've heard from the Psychiatrist Association it's between 3 and 10.
I suppose it's been of 3 or 10 of what? Because the rates of schizophrenia have been stable and are stable at about 1% throughout the country. And
psychotic episodes?
Psychotic. Perhaps I shouldn't be lumping schizophrenia in with psychotic, but it's related.
The submissions will be on the website.
They will be there.
The psychiatry.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of controversy on that area, especially probably the work of Richie Polton and the Otago longitudinal study is looked at in great detail, genetic basis. But I just to say cannabis, you could say, well, 10% of cannabis users are going to go psychotic. That I think is a gross exaggeration. So I'm just asking that you really look at a lot of information on that, not just take one faction. Sorry, I'm not an expert. I have studied it.
Several people who talked about there was a debate about the percentage, wasn't there?
No, there was.
Okay. I find that outrageously high, and I have looked at the issue, but I didn't come here to talk about the technical matters like that. I was just sort of trying to give a philosophical view of don't let the medical profession say this is our issue and we're not going to let you use cannabis. It's a rights issue, and that's really what I was going to. That's really what I was wanting to say, really. So, you want to ask a question? I'll have a cup of tea and. Okay.
No, we really appreciate that. I actually don't have any questions for you. I mean, I think what we've heard is that actually it's about a product and how the people who need that product, what they think about that product, their experience of that product, and the ability to use that product within a framework where currently it's prohibitive because it's it's an illegal substance.
Right.
So it's how do we as a society move from that? And you're right, probably an analysis after we've done it all, we'll go, why has that taken us so long?
That's what I have submitted to in these buildings 20 years ago on this issue. I have been involved in the policy area for some time, and I'm dismayed that we're still doing it.
So you were involved in that?
I was the General Secretary of the Legalised Cannabis Party, and I've also been on the what used to be called the Triple CAD in Christchurch, a drug alcohol organisation. Yeah. When I say that, I must point out that I have never, ever consumed cannabis. People find that hard to believe, but because I believe in that prohibition is wrong and very, very harmful to our society, and it's now gratifying that view is starting to become mainstream. It's starting to, but we still have these laws on our books. But,
you're right, and it's, 17 years later?
It's 70 years in New Zealand is cannabis prohibition. And it does not have good basis, in my view, but I'm ranting, it's only a polemic, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate that. So we're just going to have a little break, everybody.